Welcome to pupils, guests, parents and colleagues. Welcome to this year's speech day, albeit a live stream version. Clearly, no State of the Union speech could be presented without the mention of the unprecedented challenge that we have faced over the past year and a half. I think it's to everyone's credit that staff and pupils have coped so well with government lockdowns, our own lockdowns, moving teaching to online, and dealing with the many issues surrounding all of the problems that arise from such a challenging set of circumstances. To that end, I would first and foremost like to thank our pupils for coping so well, and for all the staff for rising to the challenge of taking that technological step with teaching. Probably advanced your CPD by a decade in a matter of weeks. To our residential staff, you have simply been out of this world with looking after your children. To our catering teams, you have adapted to creating takeaway meals so well, the cleaners and maintenance teams for keeping us safe, and all the rest of the staff for going above and beyond. Thank you. Prior to the first lockdown, the school had continued to grow and was at a healthy 270 pupils, with our maximum permitted DFE number of 300 expected to be reached by January 2021. COVID put paid to that, but we are now at a fairly healthy 237 pupils. Some are still in their own country with a form of blended learning, while the rest are here. Numbers for September are looking very good indeed, and I am optimistic that we could be back to pre-pandemic levels by 2022 January. Clearly, with no educational fairs for our marketing teams to attend, it's very much to Carolyn and her team's credit that the numbers are looking so good, with the quality of the virtual open days, football fairs with the academy staff, and much, much more. Academically, our Gcse results have continued to improve, as of course have our A-level results. The rolling 3-year figure for positive value-added residual has increased every year for the past 3 years, and we now use this data to track, and is fully embedded into our monitoring program. The personal tutors that each pupil have use this data to keep the boys and girls up to the mark. UFP results were slightly down last year after 3 years of growth, but still represent a considerably strong set of results for pupils to reach their chosen university. Our drive for educational improvement is ongoing. New IT platforms, continued staff CBT, new classrooms being planned on top of the excellent new science block that was completed last year. These all indicate the college's, especially driven of course by our directors, desire to keep each and every pupil up to the mark and give them the best possible education while they are here. In addition to the core curriculum, the EPQ program and other specialist academic challenges still feature strongly. The new enrichment program starting next September will move this on another level and will see developments of music and drama within the college. Also within the co-curricular side of the college, we have seen a good uptake this year for those wishing to challenge themselves with the internationally renowned Duke of Edinburgh Award scheme. I would also like to make mention of the fact that even though this has not been an easy year, our pupils have not lost sight of those less fortunate than ourselves. Leicester Children's Hospital has benefited from our charitable activities this year, along with Aqua Aid for clean drinking water in Africa. As well as those two, we've had the Royal British Legion and local dementia charities also benefiting. I think it's a great measure of an individual who still thinks of others even when they are up against it themselves. Well done to everyone who has worked so hard in these areas, and a special thanks to Miss Barbara, who has driven so much of this interest within the pupil body. As ever, our football academy has performed outstandingly well. Even though the previous season was not fully completed last year, we were able to jointly share the ISFA National Under-16 title, having reached the final prior to the first lockdown. The ESFA National Under-16 title was also won by us from over 500 schools starting out on the journey to the final. This final was played once the new academic year started and was live streamed around the world by the FA. We won handsomely, with Risa winning the Man of the Match award, voted by hundreds watching the game online, and Victor won a special trophy for being the tournament's top goal scorer. In addition to those two successes, we saw a record 10 pupils represent their country, 2 of whom captained their side. Perhaps most significant of all was the selection of Kelvin John and Jackson Kirkconnell to the full men's national side to play in this year's World Cup qualifiers. So whilst we were at home watching the likes of Kane and Rashford on the telly, we actually had 2 of our pupils competing in that very same tournament. That is a remarkable achievement for one school. We have also seen pupils continue to sign for professional clubs, and an ever-increasing number of pupils take advantage of our unique football and education package so that they can move on and star in America with soccer, as they call it over there, scholarships whilst at university. Whilst fewer in number, the pupils in the Motorsport Academy are also doing well with a mixture of karting and F4 work. Turn in particular enjoyed a very successful winter warm weather training season in Dubai and then achieved his first ever podium position in the UAE Championships. Since returning to the UK, he has already taken part in the first round of the British F4 Championships, and in the first round came a creditable 4th in the second race of the season. We wish him well in the races at Snetterton and Brands Hatch later on in June. So even though it has been a year unlike any I have known in my career, the school has continued to flourish and our pupils' achievements are many and varied. It goes without saying that I wish every one of our leavers this year, whether you're going to university, into the workplace or the world of football, all the very best. I hope you all have a wonderful, happy future ahead of you. And as well as the pupils leaving, of course, I can't forget some of the staff who either move on or are leaving as well this term. During the course of the year, Mari Black, who was for many years our excellent business manager, moved on to be with her family in December and take up a new post in Essex. We wish her well in that new role. Victoria Speed was an excellent teacher of chemistry who joined us fairly new to the profession, completed her teaching qualifications and continued to deliver a first-class education throughout the time with us. Corinne Antoine resigned at the end of last term after many years of teaching psychology and of course making those famous prep each year on Pancake Day. She contributed much to the social science faculty over the years, perhaps most especially with the invention of the digital library, and also as a constant supporter of a great many events, particularly things like International Day. Sophie Heron spent a short time in admissions but has moved on to a similar role elsewhere, for which we wish her much success. Mark Gray also left us this year. Mark was our IT guru for many years, and we all picked up many useful tips from him. Perhaps the best tip of all was try turning it off and then on again. Unfortunately, that might be the phrase that he's best remembered for, but it would massively understate the IT changes that he's overseen and the systems that he has installed across the whole town for us. We certainly wish Mark all the very best with his new business venture. This term we say goodbye to Jackie Hall, a stalwart of the mathematics faculty. Her willingness to teach statistics when all right-minded people would clearly want to teach mechanics took the burden off that discipline away from her colleagues. In addition, her teaching of pure mathematics at all levels was first class. We wish Jackie all the very best in retirement and thank her for her contribution over so many years. On the residential side, we saw Judith Morales-Pola leave at Easter, and this summer we see Joanna Bird, Nick Fitzy and George Foster all leave. It's impossible to say enough about in praise of our residents this year. The lockdowns, winter camp, Easter camp, they've all taken a huge toll on them. And I'd like to thank all the residents in particular for their efforts. Joanna, Nick and George have also contributed so much more on top of their pastoral role. George with his football coaching, Joanna as our exams officer, and Fitzy with all the gym work and cover. It was also particularly pleasing to see Fitzy back as a former pupil. Last but by no means least, Jessica Barrs, our former matron left on maternity leave and in the end chose not to return, and we hope that she continues to enjoy all that a newborn babe brings. We also lost a true and dear friend in Lindsay Webster this year, more about whom I will mention in the prize giving part of our ceremony. So to everyone present, all the boys and girls queuing up outside for their prizes, I wish you all the best for your futures. To all our leavers, may you have a life ahead that brings you much happiness and success in equal measure. Thank you very much. That now concludes the State of the Union address from me, and we will move on to the presentation of the prizes. Over to you, Gary. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. I've always been proud of the students at Brook House College, and so a day like today, where we get to recognise the hard work by our students and also by our teachers, is a particularly good day for me. Without any further ado, I'd like to start by presenting the A-level prizes. The A-level prize for psychology goes to Proud Senamoy. The A-level prize for the A-level cohort for Ielts goes to Emil Babio. The prizes for A-level business and physical education go to Casper Rumersar. The A-level prizes for A-level economics and accounting go to Camlin Nguyen, otherwise known to us as Bella. The A-level prizes for art and computing go to May Dove. The A-level prizes for A-level sociology and law go to Abubakar Tambadou Mohammed. The A-level prize for A-level physics goes to Romania Long. The A-level prizes for biology, chemistry and mathematics go to Bella Tran. We are now going on to the A-level prizes for, the University Foundation Programme prizes. So the first prize for University Foundation Programme Art goes to AJ. The prize for University Foundation Programme Law goes to Seren Inar. Sadly, Joe Lee cannot be with us today to receive his prize for University Foundation Programme Business and Politics. But the A-level prize, the University Foundation Programme prize for physical education goes to Kyle Jack. Unfortunately, Marek Kolas cannot be with us today to receive the University Foundation Programme Prize for Physics. The University Foundation Programme Prize for Chemistry goes to Owen Rudolph. The University Foundation Prizes for UFP Computing and also working within the University Foundation Programme Cohort in Ielts goes to Sedna Kaka. The University Foundation Prizes for Psychology and Sociology go to Samuel Alexandrov. And lastly, the University Foundation Programme Prize for Biology goes to Victoria Semi Appiel. We are now moving on to the Key Stage 3 prizes. We have two Key Stage 3 prizes, one for Year 8 and one for Year 9, for overall excellence. Hetty Lee, unfortunately, is absent today and cannot attend, but the prize for Year 9 goes to Freddie Truman. We are now on to the prizes for our GCSE cohort. The prize for GCSE History goes to Archie Powell, who unfortunately cannot be here today. The prize for GCSE Sociology goes to Carlton Najomo. Unfortunately, Hayden Chan cannot be with us today to receive the GCSE prize for GCSE Psychology. The prize for GCSE Chemistry goes to Lynette Hen. The prize for GCSE German goes to Nicholas Barra O'Connor. The prize for GCSE Biology, Geography and Spanish goes to Peter Matthews. Unfortunately, Putty cannot be with us today to receive the prize for GCSE IT. The prizes for GCSE Mathematics, Physical Education, Business and English Language go to Sean Hull. The prize for GCSE Art goes to Sockley Song. for GCSE physics goes to Di Chung Vo, who unfortunately cannot be with us today. We are now on to the prizes for our pre-sessional students for excellence and rapid progress in pre-sessional English. Prize goes to Elsamed Burgash. Unfortunately, Shemlin Chang cannot be here to receive their prize also for pre-sessional progress. We are now on to the Football Academy prizes. The prize for the Under-14 Player of the Season goes to Alvaro Lazaro. The prize for the Football Academy Under-15, Under-16 Player of the Season goes to Isaac Librero. The prize for the Football Academy Under-17 Player of the Season goes to Kalayo Medwa. The prize for the Under-19 Player of the Season goes to Kaspar Rumasar. The Golden Glove Prize from the Football Academy goes to Koju Abayomi. The prize for Football Academy Top Goal Scorer goes to Gabriel Egbe. The prize for the longest serving graduate in the Football Academy goes to Monzon Bagayoko.
Monzon. Well done. Good stuff. Well done. The prize for the Student Athlete of the Year goes to Peter Matthews. You a white shirt with that. And finally, the prize for the most improved in the Football Academy goes to Thurain Tan. Now come the Residential House Awards. The prize for the student from George's House goes to Alvaro Lazaro. The prize for the student from Union House goes to Atika Sanwai.
of the student from our over 18 accommodation goes to Augustine Okocha, otherwise known as AJ. The prize for the student from the Angel accommodation goes to Indiana Rupert. The prize from Northampton House goes to Joseph Sullivan. The House Award for Burnmill House goes to Litha Zinibola. And now, Mr. Oliver, I would like to say a few words about the next prize.
Our top Ielts Award has been named in memory of Lindsay Webster, who very sadly passed away this year after a brave battle against cancer. Lindsay, throughout his time at Brookhouse, gave greatly to the college as an EFL and IELTS teacher, a government and politics teacher, a summer school teacher, and massively within the marketing department as well. He was always immaculately presented. He was an inspirational and naturally gifted teacher. His students just loved him. As a colleague, he was kind, considerate, patient, and a wicked sense of humour. The essence of a true and perfect gentleman. It was always a pleasure to experience the warmth of his company, his intelligent views on world affairs, and his absolute love for different cultures and countries. Teaching for Lindsay was a true vocation, and he taught for over 50 years. He fostered high levels of affection both in the classroom and the staff room and alike. He really believed in young people and what they could achieve. And as a consequence, his pupils really did achieve. He supported every aspect of this college's development and growth. We greatly miss him and trust that he would not be too embarrassed with us naming this award after him. So the first recipient of Lindsay's award is Katrina. Well done, Katrina.
The award for the Paul Kitchener Award for all-round excellence goes to Peter Matthews.
Okay, so Peter, as you've already seen, top academic in his year by far. Excellent at football, again, we picked up awards for that. In addition to that, strong commitment to Leicester Children's Hospital this year with all the work that he put in with his Duke of Edinburgh Award. Okay, so well done, Peter. We're absolutely delighted that you picked up the PK Award.
Finally, the award from the principal for our top academic goes to Bella Tran.
And again, we know this is our top academic award. So congratulations, Bella. I know you've already seen her pick up several prizes already, and I know she's working really hard with her preparations to get into university. But an amazing effort. So congratulations, our top academics. So let's go and well done. concludes the prize giving part of the ceremony. Thanks very much to Gary for coordinating this mammoth task. It's an amazing effort every year to get staff to, oh, can't we give 2 prizes for this one? They're so good. But he's done an amazing job of organising it all, and perhaps more than most schools, a real challenge just to get everybody's names right. So thank you, Gary, not just for speech day, but for all of your support for every pupil this academic year. Thank you. Now would be the traditional slot in the proceedings for the guest speaker. But with COVID restrictions still in place, I'm afraid, sadly, you'll have to put up with me. Giles suggested that I should be reflective. And as is the case with so many suggestions made by Giles, our MD, he is of course correct, as this is my last ever term of teaching. It's an ideal opportunity, therefore, to be reflective and also perhaps suggest a possible path forward for the future. When I started teaching, schools at the end of the 70s and the early 80s were not the sort of school that we enjoy today. It was pre-Children Act. Some of the boarding environments were pretty harsh. I know from my own boarding experience in the 60s and 70s, with its particular brand of muscular Christianity, they were not happy places to be in, and certainly nothing like the boarding schools of today. When I started to teach, we used a spirit-based printer called a Banda for our handouts. I still had a slate board and used chalk in my classroom. There was not a single computer in the school. The first one was eventually installed and it filled the whole secretary's office. Thankfully, we have moved on, and most definitely for the better. Although I would perhaps observe that the first staff handbook that I came across, in those days called Standing Orders, ran to 8 sides of A4. I dread to think how many pages all of our policies, procedures and documents run to nowadays, but such is progress apparently. When I arrived here at Brookhouse College, Mark Selby had just won the World Snooker title. Leicester City were collecting the Premier League trophy. As I leave this summer, the Jester from Leicester has won another world title, and Leicester City are lifting another national football trophy. Thus, Mark Selby and Leicester City neatly bookend my time here. Upon my arrival, it would be fair to say that perhaps we had some compliance issues, but now in my 6th year here, we have passed all subsequent ISI inspections, we remain fully compliant, and the school has grown in both size and reputation. A new timetable allowing the footballers to have better academic outcomes has been introduced. Baseline testing is now fully integrated into our programme, making the tutorial periods more profitable and allowing for proper tracking and monitoring. Our improved examination results, the arrival of personal tutors, the new science block, the vice principal and heads of faculty, all driving the academic programme along, have been considerable. In addition, with new boarding facilities, return of the D&E scheme and activities, as well as massive football success and national titles aplenty, as well as the co-ed going co-ed, I think marks out a successful period of time. Is there more to do? Yes. Am I pleased with what we've achieved together? Yes again. Moving forward, we await our new kitchens and dining facility in September, new classrooms, offices and boarding house renovations, as well as a new IT infrastructure worthy of the high-tech world we have so effectively used over the past year. In terms of thinking for the future, I wanted to leave you with a gift of some advice to guide you in the years ahead. But quite where to start has been a challenge for me. So I've looked at some sound advice offered by those people in history who are noted for their wisdom. Giving advice or rules can be fraught with pitfalls if not taken well or in the wrong spirit. For those of a Christian persuasion, the 10 Commandments are pretty clear and succinct. So by all means, take them on board. When I was a school leader, we were given a copy of Max Ehrmann's Desiderata on parchment. It too contained loads of very sound advice, and again, I would recommend that you follow that. Whatever you choose for your moral compass, remember that above all, you are citizens within a community. It could be the school community, your country, or the world. Try to be guided by some of the thoughts I have presented to you over the years in my assemblies and apply them to the communities I have just mentioned, and do your very best to make those communities a better place. It could simply be helping someone within the school. It could be doing some fundraising for charitable cause, or in the bigger scheme of things, particularly pertinent now, thinking about the climate and doing something for the whole world. Failing all of that, and this is probably going to be the best bit of advice I can give you, listen to your mum. Do as she tells you. It's just plain spooky how often mums are always right. With that, I can conclude this year's speech and hand over to Giles, our MD, before heading off to one of these famous barbecues and for a break over half term. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, students of the college and friends of the college, I would like to extend my thanks and those of my mother to the Principal Mike Oliver and the Deputy Principal Gary Chalmers for their organisation of today's events in the most challenging of circumstances. I haven't actually been at a prize giving ceremony here at Brook House since 2018. In 2019, I was at the bedside in hospital of a young man from the football academy who broken his neck on the training ground the preceding day. And obviously in 2020, the pandemic prevented any form of celebration being occasioned. I think this chronology says a lot about Brook House. Firstly, that at the college, from the senior leadership team onwards, people care deeply. Our young charges' futures are in safe hands. I think it also shows how last year our world was shaken to the core by the impact of the wretched pandemic we've all suffered the effects of. It also shows how with resilience, common spirit, unity of purpose and robust leadership, the college has been able to return from incredible difficulties and concentrate now on what it does best, educating young people and enriching their lives as they prepare to embark on life's uncertain journey. As often happens in life, I believe the feat of what we have collectively achieved over the last 18 months will only truly be recognised at some stage in the future. The transition to online learning and blended learning, the arrangements of safe passage for hundreds of students during a pandemic, the serving of more than 100,000 pre-packed meals, quarantine arrangements initiated in real time, liaison with government authorities at all levels, countless communications with parents, endless hours of reassuring conversations with students, lateral flow tests delivered en masse, football fixtures cancelled as never before here in the home of football, fear, panic and mental health concerns were never previously imagined, tags assessed and awarded, a new lexicon learned and never to be forgotten, indelibly marked in history. I'm proud of every staff member who has played a part in this renaissance, and those of us who have lived through these surreal times will share a bond to last a lifetime, a kinship forged in adversity. Central, of course, to this stabilising process and recovery has been Mike Oliver. At the time of their careers when most heads are joining golf clubs and buying bolt holes overseas in the sun, Mike stepped up to the greatest challenge any head could face. He saw the college through the darkest night with a strong hand on the tiller. Drawing on years of experience, he piloted the college through a crisis in an unflappable, professional and incredibly diligent manner, combining innovation and established good practice. In doing so, he secured the future of 100 staff and hundreds of students. Every parent, student and staff member owes Mike a great debt of gratitude. As Mike leaves us at the end of this academic year, I hope he receives many pledges of gratitude as he deserves them all. As college directors, we could not have asked for a better custodian of the values we hold dear. I hope in the years ahead, Mike will be able to reflect on what he achieved and allow himself to take some pleasure in that. Perhaps his greatest accomplishment in a distinguished career came right at its end. I always cry at Hollywood movies. It's a family thing. In the film Troy, there's a moment when a young Achilles prepares on behalf of his tribe to fight a giant champion from another tribe. A young boy steps forward to warn Achilles that the Thessalonian he is fighting is the biggest man he has ever seen and that he wouldn't want to fight him. Achilles replies, That's why no one will remember your name. We will certainly remember your name, Mike, your courage, your abilities, and your loyalty. And we wish you a very long and a very happy retirement, interrupted just now and again by the occasional trip to Market Harborough, an undertaking that we will hold you to. As the college was ambushed by the horrendous scenario with the global pandemic, we suffered the cruelest blow of all. Earlier this year, we lost Mr. Lindsay Webster to cancer, a truly devastating loss. Lindsay was a teacher beyond compare, a master of his craft, a gentleman without equal, a colleague who was loved and respected. It was the loss of one of our own, the brightest smile and the most infectious laugh in the college. A man who loved life, travel, his wife, his family, his students, his colleagues, and in turn everyone loved him right back. Hours passed like minutes when you were talking to Lindsay. His sense of fun made generational gaps irrelevant. The college is working double hardest with the staff to create a lasting memorial to a great man whose name should be honoured and whose memory is cherished. I received emails from Lindsay while he was actually undergoing hospital treatment, and as a measure of the man, his tone was never self-pitying, and indeed typically selflessly, he used to ask how I was. A truly remarkable man. Whilst the last 18 months have posed challenges for our students and their parents on an unprecedented scale, aspects of the pandemic have forged qualities which our students may have never known they possessed. The journey into a dark void has shone a light on previously uncharted qualities. Anais Nin wrote, "Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage, and our students have shown fortitude as one could never have imagined. They've shown resilience, determination, forbearance, and compassion for each other. No, it hasn't worked out as we planned or hoped, but those who question the strength of character, conviction, and resolve of Generation X, Y, or Z have found their answer in the steadfastness of the supposed snowflake generation. The young people of today deserve respect. They can stand on their own 2 feet, and when required, they can stand and fight. I hope the travails of the last 18 months will show the children of today that nothing can stop them, and they may be more ready than ever for life's challenges as a result. As the vaccination rollout has shown success, and as the world emerges blinking into the sunlight, I think we can proceed with positivity. I'll be writing to all parents over half term to introduce Mike's successor, and we look forward to welcoming our new principal in August to the Brookhouse family. Much has been written about how children may not travel so much internationally in the future for educational purposes. Whilst recent months have been difficult, the outcome has been remarkable. Here in Market Harborough, we've seen children from 60 countries putting aside national associations to bind together with compassion and care for each other, developing qualities of perception, courage, fortitude, leadership, and responsibility on a hitherto unforeseen scale. If only the wider world could follow suit. The future of the world lies with these people, and that's a good thing. I think our recent experiences are ringing endorsements of the benefit of international education and collaboration on a world scale. I'm sure as we move forward, we will take a little bit of what we have learnt with us. And so we look forward with fresh and emboldened vigour to 2021 to 2022. We'll respect the past and the people who created our narrative, but we will also look to the future. Our development plan will show a new dining and cafe facility to be completed by January 2022 in the ground floor of the Angel Building, and refurbishment of certain boys' accommodations in summer 2022. I hope and believe that 2021 to 2022 will represent a return to happier and less disrupted times, but we must remain mindful of what we have learned and how we can make adaptability and global vision watchwords for the future. I wish you all an enjoyable summer break. I wish our departing students future success, and thank our returning students and their families for continuing to be part of our story. A story of success and renewed self-belief. Thank you very much.
And that concludes our speech day ceremony today. Thank you all very, very much for watching.
It's gone now. Are we done? Okay.